It doesn't take much to destroy a person. Sometimes all it takes is silence, being ignored, abandoned, forgotten. They think if they erase you long enough, you'll disappear. But they don't understand what silence really does. It sharpens your instincts, hardens your will. And when the noise is gone, you finally hear the voice inside that says, it's time to rise. It doesn't start with victory. It starts with loss. Not a clean, poetic kind of loss, but brutal, soul-stripping loss. The kind that makes you question everything. They didn't just walk away. They ripped pieces out of you, took what mattered, left you hollow. And when you were down, they expected you to stay there. But rock bottom isn't the end. It's a forge. And while they thought they left you broken, what they really did was set you free. Because when there's nothing left to protect, nothing left to prove, nothing left to lose, you become dangerous. You stop asking for fairness. You stop waiting for justice. You stop needing permission. You start becoming. Not in their image, not by their standards, but into something that answers to no one. They broke the old you. Good. Now rebuild yourself into something unshakable. They left you in the dark, but they didn't realize. You don't need light to evolve. You don't beg. You don't flinch. You don't answer to anyone anymore. Because when the system failed you, you stopped playing by its rules. You learned to move in silence, to sharpen your instincts, to trust no one but your own hands. And every setback, you turned it into armor. Every betrayal, a blade. They wanted you weak, but they made you relentless. They wanted you gone, but they made you undeniable. Now you don't need revenge. You don't need their apologies. Because the version of you they tried to erase, he's gone. Or what's left is something they can't understand, can't predict, can't control. You became dangerous by surviving. You became free by detaching. You became powerful by embracing the pain they thought would end you. So when they ask why you changed, why you're colder, sharper, harder to reach, tell them, you turned me into this. I just decided to finish the job. You're not their victim. You're not their puppet. You're not the story they tried to write. You're the ending they never saw coming. Let them talk. Let them fear it. Because once you built yourself from the ground up, they can't take anything from you ever again. You've already buried the version of you that begged, that waited, that hoped they'd see your worth. Now, you don't need to be seen. You're not looking for recognition. You're focused on results. And results don't lie. They don't care who hurt you. They don't care who left. They only reflect what you built in the dark. You're done explaining your silence. Done softening your edge. Done shrinking to fit places that never had room for you. Because when everything you depended on fell apart, you didn't. You learned to stand on nothing but will. You learned to build with blood in your mouth and a storm in your chest. You learned to be the one thing this world can't break. Self-made. So now, you move with intention. You speak when it matters. You walk like every step costs something because it does. You know what it took to get here. The nights that shattered you. The people who switched sides. The versions of you that died along the way. But you also know this. The more you lost, the less they could use against you. The more they took, the more you had to create on your own. And the less you depended on anyone, the stronger you became. This world doesn't give strength. It demands it. And you? You paid in full. Now you don't fear chaos. you command it. You don't run from the fire. You walk through it like it knows your name. You become the kind of person who doesn't need a throne to lead because your presence is enough. And when people ask what changed, tell them everything, because I did. I stopped hoping for peace and started building my own. I stopped asking to be saved and learned to save myself. I stopped fearing failure and turned it into a blueprint. You want to know why I'm distant? Why I'm intense? Why I don't play by your rules anymore? Because I've been at war inside myself and I won. And once you've faced yourself in the dark, once you've rebuilt from zero, once you've buried weakness with your own two hands, you're not scared of anything anymore. You don't fear rejection. You don't chase love that hurts. You don't sit at tables where loyalty is just a word. Because now you know, power isn't loud, strength isn't soft, and freedom, it's paid for in silence, scars, and sacrifice. So if they call you cold, let them. If they call you heartless, smile. If they say you've changed, damn right you did. You had to evolve to survive. You had to harden to heal. You had to destroy the weaker version of yourself just to make room for who you are now. And now that you're here, no turning back. No slowing down. No second guessing. Because you've already walked through the fire. Now, you carry it. And anyone who tries to dim your flame will learn what happens when you try to put out something that was forged to burn. You carry the fire now, not to warm others, to burn what doesn't belong. You don't apologize for the space you take up. You don't dilute your power to make others comfortable. You don't explain the storm you become to people who only knew you in your silence. Because the version of you that bent, that waited, that needed no longer exists. Now, you're not chasing legacy. You're living it. Every step you take echoes with the weight of everything you've endured. And every room you walk into feels it. They'll say you're too intense now. Too distant, too focused, too cold. But here's the truth. You didn't get here by being soft. You got here by surviving every version of yourself that didn't make it. The one who doubted. The one who begged. The one who broke. You bury them all. And what's left is someone who no longer flinches, who no longer hesitates, who no longer needs anything but forward. So when they try to pull you back into old roles, into old versions, into old pain stands, still, let them see it. Let them feel what it means to look into the eyes of someone who's been through hell and came back unrecognizable. Because you didn't just change. You shed. You stripped away everything false, everything weak, everything borrowed. And in its place, you forged something permanent. So from now on, you don't explain your edge. You don't dull your fire. You don't step back to make others feel big. You own the weight. You carry the silence. You walk like a weapon and mean it. Because they didn't survive what you did. And they'll never survive what you've become.